What is up, all my beautiful people? Adam with Collecting with Durs here. Make sure you tune in to Comic Book Addicts with Scotty. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Love you, brother. Have a great show.
It did cut him off. I was hoping it wouldn't cut him off at the end there. When I tried it out earlier, it cut him off at the last second. What's up, y'all? Comic Book Addicts 27. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a pretty good day so far. It's July 17th, and it's the start to another week. And I hope that yours has been off to a good start so far. Let's see. Yeah, like I was saying, I had a good weekend. I jumped on a bunch of live streams and hung out, and that's mainly what I did is just kind of hang out and jump live stream to live stream. I did some pre-recorded stuff with TM Nerdy, and I also did one with Comic Collector Geek, which was a lot of fun. I think that will premiere this Saturday. And then let's see, I jumped on, let's see, I hung out on one Friday. I'm drawing a blank here now. But I hung out on a live stream Friday, and then Sunday I hung out with Collecting with Durs, Sunday night sesh, and that was a lot of fun. But that's pretty much what I've been up to besides work, just working my life away. Let's see who we got in the comments. We have Matt, Comics by the Bay. What's up, Matt? I hope you're doing well. Let's see, we got X11 Bravo. What's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. I think I talked to you, was it yesterday? Pretty good dude. I love X11 Bravo. Tony Comiverse, he does a live stream on Saturday nights. He just started doing them, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to watch Tony and his channel grow and continue to grow and do well and put out good videos. And what's up, John Mello? What is going on, man? I hope you're doing well this evening. Let's see, let me catch up. We got Mike from Evil's Comics. Hey, man, what's going on, dude? I hope you're doing well. See, I don't want to miss anybody. But yeah, I also made a trade for a really cool book, which I've showed it off. I feel like I've showed it off to death. Comic Cap Collectibles. What's going on, man? But I made a trade for a pretty big book. I've been wanting this book for a while, and was able to make a trade for it. And it has a Mark Jewelers variant or Mark Jewelers insert in it. So I was excited about that. A little upgrade to my collection. But I feel like I've showed it off to death, though. Frank, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Dagger Cards, what's up, man? He says, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good week so far. Let's see. We got Shop for Comics. What's going on, Shop? If you haven't checked out Shop on IG, he does what's called the Shopverse. It's he basically does cartoon versions of the whole comic book community. It's really, really cool thing. If you never checked it out, go follow him on IG and check it out. It's awesome. He even did me as Kang. It's really cool. I was honored to be included in that. Daredevil NYC, what's going on, man? Glad you could make it. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get some community news going because I'm excited for the guest tonight. We're returning to recovery this week. It's been too long. I'm ready to talk about some recovery. Comic book community news. Me and Frank from Frank's BS are going to be doing like a collector's live stream this August 9th. I forget what day that falls on. I want to say it's like a Wednesday. But it's called You Collect What? And it's basically going to be about collectors and their passion for just collecting anything as long as it's not illegal and can be shown on YouTube. So it can be anything from like Barbies to crystals and gemstones, coins, any collections that you have a passion. We want to see them, and that's what the live stream is basically going to be about. We're going to do some really cool giveaways. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be August 9th. But also, if you are a collector, hit us up. We're looking for collectors. CBC award nominations. Think they're only going for like, I don't know, maybe 3 more weeks. But I'm going to throw it over to Brian and fill you in on that.
Hey YouTube, Brian LCS, and just a friendly reminder that the Comic Book Community Award nominations are currently open. They close August 5th. So visit cbcawards.org to nominate your favorite content creators and channels in the comic book community today. Make sure your voice is heard.
That's the date that it ends. So we have like 3 weeks, y'all. So be sure to get your nominations in. There's a lot of really good content creators, a lot of really good channels out there. So really important to it's real easy. It doesn't take a lot of time. Just go to cbcawards.org and click ballot. See, Madam Blaster. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Was talking to her earlier today. Phil's Treehouse does a really cool trivia live stream. If you guys have never checked it out, go check it out. We got 3 good nerds. Hope you're doing well, brother. Glad you could make it. I wanted to shout out Trev, the shipping guru. He hit 1,000 subscribers this past week. So congratulations to Trev. Trev is someone that he's a big supporter of just everybody. If you have a comic book related channel, I guarantee you, like, Trev is one of those people that he just goes around supporting everybody. He's commenting on everybody's stuff. He's just an all-around supporter of everyone. He's always supported my channel, and very worthy of the 1K. So congratulations, Trev. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Let's see. Next week on Comic Book Addicts, for the first time and probably the only time this year, I'm going to do an open panel, open topic. I'm going to send out the link, and I just want to have a big open panel live stream. I can have up to 10 people, so I just want to fill it up with people from the community and just have a good hangout, and just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to that. Actually, I've never done that on here. I did it for the 1K giveaway, but I never have done that before on Comic Book Addicts. So that's going to be fun. But anyways, I want to bring out the guests because I want to talk some recovery. I'm excited about that. Tonight's guest is a returning guest to Comic Book Addicts. She is a person that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. She works at CADAS, and every single day she makes a difference in people's lives. Here to talk more recovery with us, please help me welcome Charlotte Gaston to the live stream.
Hey,
Hey,
Scott.
Charlotte. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be back. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to have you back. I feel like we just had barely put a dent in the conversation last time before you had to go. So I for sure wanted to have you back.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back.
So for anybody that maybe didn't catch the last one or is not familiar with you, explain who you are, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I am currently a residential counselor at CADAS, which I've been in that position for a little over a year now. Before that, I was an assistant counselor for the IOP, which is intensive outpatient, also at CADAS. Before that, I was the assistant counselor for MAT, medication assisted treatment, also at CADAS. Before that, I was a residential technician, which was a, resident cat herder at CADAS, which is, that's the hardest job there.
I would imagine
but
that's a difficult one.
My whole recovery work career has been at CADAS, and it's running up on 5 years now. And I love it. Yeah, I know. It shocks me that I've been there that long. I love it. I love it that I get to go to work every day. I really do.
5 years. That really is amazing. Congratulations.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Think of how many people think of how many lives you probably made a difference in that 5 years. Like, there's no telling.
You said that. I heard you introducing me, and I was like, that I get to change lives every day. I mean, I hope so. I know I try. It's the coolest thing in the world to at least have the opportunity. I don't know. A lot of people might not think it's a big deal. To me, it is a huge deal. And, my life story led right to it. So if I have a skill set at all, it is to kind of jump in the middle of people self-destructing and go, hey, man, you don't actually have to keep doing that. Maybe stop. Mostly they don't, but we have a lot of cool conversations while they're on pause, at least. So that's what
I mean. I know as far as my life, you've made a huge impact on my life. You and Mike both had a tremendous impact, and I hear your voices in my head still to this day. And so many of the tools that you taught me, I still use to this day. And so I mean, I no doubt you're making a difference. I mean, for sure.
Good to hear. That is good to hear. I'm happy that my voice haunts you and everybody else. I'll settle
Yeah.
for that. I really will. I really will.
Yeah.
My voice haunts people.
No doubt. No doubt. I know that it
Mhm.
does. I know that it does. Now, where what have you been up to since the last time you were with us hanging out?
Well, residential is a lot. It's we've been busy.
Mhm.
So I'm doing a lot of work. It's the weather has improved, so I'm outside as much as I can be. I try to get out and hike. It's my thing when I'm not indoors under fluorescent lights. I try to be anything other than. Um, and very, very recently, I've got some weird injury going on, so that's kind of put a damper on that. But I don't know,
That's
not a lot. I know, I hate it. I'm still waiting to find out what's going on with it, but it doesn't hurt too bad today. So,
But you've been
but
to the doctor and everything. Everything's okay for the most part.
okay for the most part. I've got to go back to the doctor another time, and another time it may be surgery. I've had it with the other
Hmm.
leg. It's because I danced ballet and tap for a million years when I was younger.
Wow.
So yeah, it may be surgery. It's like the thing that baseball players get when they pitch. Dancers get it in their hips.
I've
So
heard of that before. Yeah, my younger brother was a college baseball pitcher. And so
so
yeah, I've heard of that.
torn
Um,
labrum is what it is, and it's
okay.
yeah, it's very painful. It's very painful when it swells up anyway. So
Now
hopefully,
tell me about this dancer thing. I did not
yeah,
know this.
you didn't know? My God, yeah. So I started when I was 4, and I started with ballet and tap, and
Okay.
I kept doing that for I loved it. I loved it. It was, man, I was unstoppable. I literally, it was amazing. It's hard for me to describe how much I loved it, and I was good. And I danced all the way up into my 20s, ballet, and then point. Little point shoes,
Yeah.
ballet and
Yeah.
point. They're two different things. And then
Okay.
tap, jazz, modern, funk. I did a stunt team. I was on a national
Wow.
championship team. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome. I
cool.
did not know any of that. That's really cool though.
I thought
Like,
you did. Yeah, when I was got into adult classes, I taught kids to pay for my classes.
well, I
So yeah,
remember you had mentioned before that you could dance, but I didn't know that you like did seriously dance like that.
I did. I
So do
did.
you still dance? Obviously, you have an injury right now, but do you still like dance some to this day every now and then, or have you given it up kind of?
You know what's interesting? You say that. I have been looking around for a class that I can join
Okay.
to learn new dance stuff. I'm looking at all this stuff on, God help me, TikTok. I hate it, but the dance stuff they do I love it. I want to learn all of it, and I've tried a couple of things, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know how to do that, so I need someone to teach me. And
Okay.
so I'm looking for classes, and then just, winging it. I'll take a sober friend or two out to Alan Gold's and dance all night. So like, you know, that kind of dancing, yeah, I still do it. And I'm trying
Okay.
to pick up
And
some classes.
I should probably explain to people that aren't from Chattanooga. Alan Gold's is like it's like a gay bar,
Oh
but
yeah,
a lot of women enjoy going there and hanging out because you don't get hit on constantly by single male men.
exactly
So
what he just said. Yeah,
yeah,
you actually get to dance, is what it is. You actually you actually get to dance. It's
yeah.
more of I had someone describe it to me. I don't know. I went there for the first time with a fake ID when I was 19 and had a blast, and I have been going ever since, even after I got sober. So yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're
No,
having
it's a
fun,
lot of fun.
and you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything to risk your recovery at all. So
No, it's a
it's all
lot
good,
of fun.
clean fun. I mean,
Yep, they're very
not a thing
sober
wrong.
friendly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. How long, and I hate to like dive
No.
into like your life and stuff. How long do you think it was into your recovery where you like before you were able to go to places like that and feel like you were okay?
Um. So, I went pretty soon. It had been maybe close to a year, I think. Maybe 8 or 9 months, I think. And I went, that's a little sooner than I would probably recommend for somebody who's never been sober before. I had been sober before. I was sober before this time for 10 years, actually, and then relapsed. And man, it
Oh,
was terrible.
yeah,
It was really bad.
devastating. The shame
It
that
was
must have came with that would, yeah.
God, it was awful. It was awful.
Mhm.
And I've not been sober as long this time as I was sober before, but the the only good thing, well, I mean, there's a few good things, I guess, but the good thing that comes out of having been sober before is I knew it would work. I knew rehab would work. I knew the program worked.
Mhm.
I knew I could stay sober. I had proven it to myself.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah, so that's a good thing. It's like I always describe it as having a cheat code. I knew that it would be fine if I would
Mhm.
just do the things that I was taught and told to do. And so I knew that I could be safe going places as long as I was going for the right reason, as long as I was not going for some, sneaky, vicarious pleasure, if I was not sneaking off trying to, you know, moan and be mad that I couldn't be drunk or high. That's not a good reason to go. But if I'm just going out to have fun, it's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Now, the first time I got sober, um, I think I I think it was a good couple of years before I did that. And then I went out and started shooting pool and realized that I felt left out. Um, and that I hated shooting pool sober. Um,
Wasn't as much fun anymore?
no, it's not, and I'm not good. I'm not as good. I don't.
Okay.
I might be, but I don't feel like I'm as good. Um, I know it's ridiculous, but I had a sponsor at the time who was like, "Look, don't question it. If you can't do it and have the same kind of fun, if you feel left out, if you feel like something is missing, just don't do it." So
Yeah,
oddly enough, I used to love to shoot pool. I had fun. I used to hustle when I was in college and everything else. Like I would go and
I believe that.
my best game is between beers like 3 and 7. And, and I can't do it anymore. I can't do it sober and have a good time. So I just don't. It's sad.
I
But
understand.
yeah.
I totally understand. I haven't been
Mhm.
to a single bar at all the whole time since
Really?
I left K. Yeah, but I will say though, the bar scene was never my thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I always just kind of went and got my stuff and then went home or
Yeah. See.
whatever. And so
Yep.
I never really was like a clubbing kind of person to begin with.
Yep. And I
But
wasn't either.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
The end of mine, I wasn't. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I would be okay though, just because
Mhm.
just the simple fact that I was never like really a big drinker. I think
Right.
maybe I would be. I think I would be okay at this point.
Yep. Yeah.
But
If it's
now I have
something that
an
you want.
interesting. We were talking, and I was telling you before the show that like I
Yes.
kind of had an interesting thing about myself that I wanted to put out there
Yes.
and
I'm so
talk to you
curious.
about. And yeah, and I wanted your opinion on it because I really feel like there's probably a clear cut answer to this, and it's probably obvious, and I don't know because it's I don't know something about maybe putting it out there.
Mhm.
Someone else maybe can make some sense of it, but anyways, at this point in my recovery, I found some stuff that was public, and it was the worst of my criminal history.
Okay.
Um, so I went ahead and I shared that. I took that and I
Hmm.
shared that with a group of friends to
Yeah.
show them, like, look, guys, I've always been 100% transparent with you. Most of my stuff has been drug possession, but I wanted you guys to know I have this one thing that was bad, and I hurt someone physically, and
Yeah.
and I put it out there basically for them so that they knew that, like, this is my worst thing I ever did,
Yeah.
and I truly regret it. It haunts me to this day. Other than that, it's just drug possession stuff. But I have physically harmed someone before, and I regret it. I mean, it was a
Right.
grown man, and at the time, I justified it
Sure.
as being okay, but it wasn't. I mean, I hurt another human being, um,
Right.
and it being another man doesn't make it any better. But should I be putting stuff out there about myself at this point, or should I really just let it go and just, I don't know.
You know what? And I love this question. Honestly, the fact that you're willing to share that with people and that you want to be that transparent, to me, I think that is strictly your call. Truly.
Okay,
I really do.
Because I wasn't sure, like, part of me wanted to just be like, well, they know me for the person that I truly am now. And like the real person that I really am. And what I did in the past, I probably should just let it go. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I found one thing that I've never talked to these guys about, and I've always been 100% transparent with everybody. And I don't want this to ever be like, because it's public, it's on my record. I don't want anybody to ever be like, hey, you know, like you always talked about you just had drug possessions, but you do have, like, you did have this violent charge like 9 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And so I just wanted to just go ahead and just put it all out there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if that was a good move at this point. If I should just forget about it and move on. And
I was gonna say that I was taught to always, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's something for me or I think I'm trying to do for other people, whatever it is, I was taught to always check my motives. Like, why am I doing this? And you just said what I think is the key part, which is these are people that clearly you care about as friends or as people that are close to you, your close circle, and that you demonstrate yourself to them as being, you know, a friend and somebody that you're open with about who you are as a person, who you used to be, what you're like now, and your whole history. And you you want to be the one to tell them who you are. You don't want somebody else telling them your story. That's how I always put it. I don't want them to stumble on some of my old stuff and go, hey, why didn't you ever tell me about this? Like,
because like I even to my brother Marcus, I even messaged him and I told him, I even went so far as to tell him like my logic at the time, what was going through my mind, what I was thinking to justify doing it. You know, like in my mind at the time, I'm like, this guy's a piece of shit human being, and he probably deserves to get hurt. Nobody deserves to get hurt.
No, but at the time it made perfect sense, and you had means and ends, and it was part of your process at the time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think if that's who you want to be to these people, then that's who you be to those people. And like, you know, posting it on your front lawn for everybody to see, absolutely not. Not everybody deserves that piece of us. You know, I don't think everybody needs to know every single thing that I've done. But if I want to make sure that they know who I am and don't stumble on something that I've said I never did, and then they go, hey, wait a second, I thought you said this. What about this? Like, I want to be the person that tells my story to people. And
hey,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, finish what you were saying. I didn't mean
I was
to
just
cut
going to
you
say
off.
that if I'm close enough to them to tell, you know, to care what they think, then, you know, I guess I'll hear whatever I hear back from them from sharing that. But I don't know. I think it sounds like you did what you felt was right and what you wanted. It sounds like you're being the person that you want to be. And I don't think that that's ever wrong.
Yeah. Well, like a lot of these guys, this community, they've been like a safety net for me. They've helped me in so many ways. And I really just feel like I owe it to them to be 100% transparent so that they know what they're dealing with me. If I'm having a bad day, or if I had a nightmare last night, then maybe they might know some insight into why, if they know more about me, or, you know, just stuff like that. X11 Bravo wanted to know what keeps you sober, Charlotte.
Me? Wow, that's a great question. Like, as far as day to day, I don't struggle with it anymore. I don't agonize over it anymore. As far as like,
how long did it take to get to that point?
Oh, I love that. a couple of months, few months, probably about 6, if I'm honest, like
And
where it wasn't
would
just.
you mind saying your DOC, your drug of choice? I mean, you
I
don't
don't
have
mind
to.
at all. I don't mind at all. My favorite in the whole wide world is alcohol. I'm just
Okay.
plain old drunk. But
Okay.
I also did benzos, and I also was doing meth, and I was also popping a few pills, and I don't know, whatever else you got.
Same.
And cocaine too.
Same. Yeah. Same.
So, but if you took everything else away, I always wanted alcohol. That was my favorite. That one nearly killed me. That and benzos. So it's everywhere. And
Yep.
what keeps me sober is I want to live a life that I'm proud of. And I want to be able to give something back, I guess. I want to live a life that I'm proud of. And that thing we were just talking about the first time I got sober, my kid was really, really little. And when I drink and use, I do not play around, man. I do it, and I go, like, I drink a lot. It's frightening, and I do all the other stuff alongside. So I go to the hospital a lot is what happens. I overdose. I do all that shit.
Yeah.
So I don't play around, and I knew that if I kept doing that, I was gonna die, and somebody else was gonna be telling my kid what her mom was like.
Yeah.
And I'm vain enough and arrogant enough and self-centered enough. I was like, I don't want somebody else telling my kid who I am. Like, that's my job. And she can decide I'm a piece of shit or not, or that I'm a drunk or no use or whatever. But I want to tell her my story. And so now it's the same thing, but ever since, my life has kind of been wild and messy, and all this crazy stuff has happened, but it's my story. It's my story, and I want to tell it. And if it's worth a damn, then other people can decide or not. I think it's worth a damn.
So let me ask you, did you have the moment like I did in the hospital where you're in the hospital bed, you just almost died, and the nurse finds out you have a kid and then has that whole conversation with you about staying alive for your kid?
God.
Did you go through that?
Yes.
That was one of the most heartbreaking conversations that I've ever had. It makes me want to, I'm going to stop even talking about it because it makes me want to cry, even like talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one of the most horrible conversations I've ever had to have in my life. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. And for me to do it and then get drunk and high again, when she's a teenager, when she's like, oh God, the selfishness of it. And someone's talking to me about it again, like, where's your kid? And I'm like, I mean, she's a senior. I should be going to all of her senior stuff right now. And she's trying to get ready to graduate, and mom's drunk off in rehab. What the fuck? Who does that? Who does that? Me. This one. Yeah. I do.
Me too.
I do. Addicts who are selfish. We do, because man, as soon as I put that stuff in, it is all I care about. I love you, but I really need to get high right now. I really need to get drunk.
It's so hard to explain too, because it's like there was never a time when I didn't love my son with all my heart. I just didn't. No. I don't know how to explain. I wasn't putting him first. Obviously, I wasn't putting him first, and I was being selfish. Yeah. And I don't know. That's like that hurts so much. Like that hurts so much.
I think it is incumbent upon people who have gone through that and are now sober to talk to other people. Well, like, and you telling your story, like that one violent thing that you did, and telling people, like us telling our stories and telling the truth about who we are to people. Like, I look like some damn soccer mom now. And people are looking at me like, you don't look like an addict or an alcoholic. I'm like, oh, I can assure you,
Yep. When I first met you, I never would have thought that you were also a recovering addict. I never would have thought it.
No, nobody can tell. But that's the thing is, I can look at somebody and tell them, and as soon as I start talking to them, they understand. And people are filled with so much shame about the stuff that they've done. And that
Yes.
thing that you
Yes.
just said about, I know I love my kid, and so why did I do all this stuff? I did it too. I drove drunk with my infant child in the car.
I did
Who
a lot of
does?
stuff right in front of him, right in
Yes.
front of my son.
And we like to lie to ourselves and say it wasn't that bad. It probably was. It probably was.
Yeah.
But, you know, until somebody else, you know, hears someone else say, you know, that they did these things, and you can move past it, and you can, you know, grow from it, and stops drowning underneath that shame. You know, they're going to feel like they're the only person on the planet who's ever done that and felt this way. We have to say these things. We have to say, I did this. It was terrible. It's because of addiction. You don't have to do it again, and you can get better. And it's okay. You're not by yourself. But we hide and we're alone in these corners thinking, I'm the worst human alive, and no one will ever forgive me.
Yep.
You know, of course they will. Of course they will.
Yeah.
Your family may or may not. I will. I think it's fine. You just have a disease.
Yep.
So we have to tell our stories. We really do.
Yeah, it's not it. Yeah, I mean, it may take some time, but like things with my son, regardless of the guilt that I still carry to this day, me and my son are great. I mean, like we have a great relationship. I'm there for him now. Like I do what I'm supposed to do now.
Yep. And that's a big deal.
He's got a good dad now today.
Yep.
So that's
And
really like what I got to focus on, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't always get to turn out like that. It's interesting. Like these days, my kid is grown. She's in her early 20s, and she, like, I've made several attempts to make a full amends with her. And the first couple of times she does this, it's fine thing, which means she's not ready. And so, you know, I keep like coming back to it. And now the most recent attempt, she doesn't want to hear it. And she's not like actively mean. She's not actively mad. She's just very distant. And yet I reinitiated that because her dad let me know she feels like she got skipped over in my steps. And I know that I didn't skip her over.
Yeah.
And but she's going through she's going through what she's going to go through. She's hurt. She's angry. She's going through whatever she has to. And that's fine. I talked to her. I said what she was willing to hear. She wasn't willing to hear the whole thing. But I said, listen, whenever you want to, if you want to, I'm willing to hear anything you have to say, answer any questions you have. And then I told her what, you know, at least the basics of what I needed her to hear, which was like, I made a ton of mistakes. I wish I hadn't. I wish I could take it back. But I know I was not being the mother that you deserved. I was not being the mother that I wanted to be. And there's nothing I can do to undo it. But whatever, at any point, if you want to say something to me or ask me any questions, you're welcome to. And she was like, I don't need to right now. It wouldn't do any of us any good. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And what comes after that is I dropped it. Like, I'm not begging and scraping for forgiveness. I am not demanding that she hear my fifth step or my ninth step. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that's not going to happen is I'm not going to live in my mistakes. I have done what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not that person today. And so I maintain consistency. I text her. I had dinner with her the other night because she invited me over to her house and she made me dinner, and it was a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I stay exactly where I am. I don't move back. I don't try to beg and scrape and bow and move forward. I just stay exactly where I am.
Yeah.
And let the relationship be what it is. She's another grown human being. She doesn't have to, you know, be my little kid so that I feel better. That's not required. But it's a relationship. It doesn't, you know, it will change and it will develop, and it's not going to happen right this damn minute. It's not going to look like maybe I plan, but as long as I do right, and as long as I stay right here, and as long as she knows that I can be counted on, then she will count on me, and that'll look however it looks, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like that's the exact way you need to look at it. I mean, it's perfectly
Yeah.
said.
I mean, how am I going to be mad? She made dinner for me. It was also delicious. So
What'd you guys have?
She made some kind of fish thing and these vegetables. And the coolest part, see, I have this crazy weird diet. And she sent me a text message right before, and she's like, okay, remind me again what you don't eat, because I eat keto. I have this crazy diet because, among other things, I also am recovering from eating disorder, because when it rains it pours. I got all the stuff, y'all. And so eating keto helps keep that kind of in check for me. And so after giving me a very small amount of grief for this long list of things, I was like, and I don't eat this or this or this or this. And she's like, fine. Okay. She wasn't really mad. And she sautés these vegetables and makes these mushrooms and makes these little fish cakes for us. And
I bet that's delicious.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. And my mom was there too. And
awesome.
Then she pulled out this homemade ice cream, and she was like, are you sure
Ooh.
you don't want any?
Yes.
Like, I'm totally good.
How do you pass up homemade ice cream? Like, that is willpower.
I don't eat sugar. I don't crave it though. So
now explain. You've explained this to me before, but explain to the people watching, why don't you do sugar?
Okay. So there's several reasons. I eat by keto, and that is no sugar, very low carbs. I do it because it is very good for my energy level. It is mainly to help me maintain keep my eating disorder brain in check.
Cool.
It is also because sugar's addictive. I respond to it very much like I respond to other drugs. My body just goes wild for it. It hits some of the same receptors that heroin and alcohol hit. And so that's why people eat chocolate and eat ice cream when they're feeling sad, and eat big mashed potato dinners when they are trying to feel warm and fuzzy, and all that kind of stuff. That's why there's a phrase called comfort food.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And so food addiction is real, and in a weird way, I have a very weird version of it. And this is sugar's just the worst part of it. I just don't have any business eating sugar, and then the other carbs do. So yeah, that's why. And it works. It works for me too. And my energy is nice and leveled off. And everybody gives me so much shit for this, because they're like, you can eat whatever you want, because I'm little. But it's just better for me. It really is. I feel better. So.
Well, as long as you feel better and it's working for you,
exactly.
and you're maintaining your health and everything, that's all that matters.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, Mark from Legion of Comics, he was wanting to know, what was your path of recovery? Was it faith-based or like a step? Did you do a step program?
I did a step program both times. And I had to go to rehab both times. Like I said, I really like to get down and do a lot of drugs and a lot of drinking. So I end up in the hospital. It is not a good time. And when I stop, I tend to have seizures. So I absolutely have to be hospitalized. I have to start.
That happens with us opiate addicts a lot.
Yes, it does. I hear, and I've noticed. So yeah, they tend to want to hospitalize me when I stop, so that I don't die.
You almost have to with alcoholics. That shit's crazy.
It is. And I was coming off benzos and alcohol this last time, and they will both give you seizures, and they will both kill you if you just stop cold turkey, apparently, which was news to me about the benzos.
Now explain that, like, okay, for someone at home that is an alcoholic or has a problem with drinking, how would you go about stopping alcohol? Because you can't just stop cold turkey, right?
Very few people can. And the way they did it in the old days, see, I'm in a 12-step program. I tend to go to AA. There's also NA. There's all kinds of A's out there for people who are faith-based. There's Celebrate Recovery. They've got that in churches. I'm not faith-based, but there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, but it's there if people need that kind of thing.
Absolutely, it is.
And so in AA, back in the day before there were treatment centers, they would you would literally go pile up on somebody's couch, and they would feed you alcohol, little bits, every few hours until they weaned you off, which is basically chemically how they do it in a rehab, in a medical detox. They have to give you little tiny bits. Benzos happen to be powdered alcohol, and that's what keeps you from having a seizure. When you're coming off of benzos and alcohol, they have to taper you off both. So
wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing, like when hospitals keep prescription beer.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Sure. That is a real thing. Like hospitals have prescription Anheuser-Busch beer. It's crazy.
So that they can give it to people and keep them from having seizures. Yeah. It is not a joke. And my suggestion to anybody who drinks daily, who when they stop, they start feeling like real panic-stricken anxiety. If they shake a lot, those are DTs, delirium tremens is what it's really called. That you should talk to and see, here's where the shame kicks in. People don't want to say anything. Let your doctor know, hey, so I think I drink too much, and I think that it's going to be a problem for me to stop. And so I'm going to need help doing that. And get yourself to a detox, and they can medically taper you down. And that's how you do it. And that will keep you from having
anything that you
a stroke or a seizure. I'm sorry, you
cut out.
Yeah, cut out. One of us did. Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, we got choppy for a second.
Okay.
It's okay. Continue where you I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just saying that if anybody's having trouble with that, just make sure that they get to a detox, because it can be really medically hit or miss. But that's where I ran into the 12 steps, was when I went into a rehab. And that's most of the treatment centers, at least in this part of the world, are 12-step abstinence based and are hooked up with and will get you hooked up with either AA or NA or something like that. And that's what 12-step programs are, is they're abstinence based. You work 12 steps and you clean up your mess, and you start, stop using, start living differently, and things tend to work better. But the main thing is that you have to stop first. So that is key. That is key. And you got to not die while you're stopping. Also key. We need you to live.
Yeah. So if you're trying to quit drinking, don't try to do that alone. Don't try to do it on your own.
No.
Yeah.
No. And if you've been prescribed benzos for a very long period of time and you would like to stop those, also probably going to need a detox period from those.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, what has anything interesting happened since the last time that we talked? Have you ran into any, obviously I don't want to talk about personal situations, but have you ran into anything interesting or have anything that you wanted to talk about specifically?
Well, there's always something interesting from work, but and personal stuff with me is just I don't know how to not get in my own way. Apparently someone at work was tased today.
What?
Yeah. I got a text and someone was like, I just saw someone get tased. It was terrible. And I was like, and of course I'm giggling because this poor sweet soul is not in recovery. And I'm just howling, sitting here on my couch, just wishing they'd filmed it. This guy's like, it was awful. And I'm like, that sounds hilarious. Two cops had to tase this one guy 6 times. And I was like, what was he on? He said, I don't know. And so I'm guessing meth. He doesn't know. So my money's on meth. I've got to find out if there's a betting pool on this. I know
Yeah.
it's twisted. There's something definitely wrong with me that I'm laughing about this stuff.
No, like if you can get tased and you can keep going, it's going to be one of those crazy psychotic drugs. It's going to be like an amphetamine based
Yep.
or angel
Some
dust.
kind
I don't know, something
Yes.
It's going to be a crazy one.
I was like, he said maybe it's that new trank stuff. But that's supposed to knock you on your ass to where you wake up and already need to score again. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. This apparently, old boy was naked in our parking lot. And
wow.
Yeah, that'll Chattanooga Police Department does not go for that. They need you to be dressed in public.
Yeah. This is a pretty busy part of town, y'all. This is right across the bridge from downtown. So it's very busy.
Yeah. And we will definitely call the police if you leave admissions and go outside and take your clothing off. We have to. It's kind of a thing. You really can't be outside. It's a residential area. We need you to keep your clothes on. It's not, we're not trying to shame you or anything. You just can't be out there running around high and naked. We can't have that. It's not okay, man. There's a whole kids community center across the road. You've got to keep your clothes on. So yeah, they came and tased him apparently. And so he will not be going through admissions today. He's got someplace else to be. I'm not sure where he ended up, but it's not in residential. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I see going on. So literally, it's hard to compare anything in my life to stuff I see at work. Every single day, people are just freaking out. Everything in their life, they're convinced is going wrong, and I'm sitting over here going, I don't know. I have a lot of empathy. I really do. But lately, this thing in me is like, I mean, things are going to happen in life, but everything can't be a crisis all the time. Like, you keep getting high and not solving things, of course, they're going to keep happening. Stuff is definitely going to keep coming at you. Exactly. Of course, your life is a mess. You get high and spend all your money on drugs and run away from all your problems. I mean, that's kind of why
that's what happens when you do that stuff. Yeah, that's what you get.
I know. My favorite are the folks who come in with like 19 pending charges, and it happens all the time. I'm not mad at them. It's no big deal. People do what they got to do, and they're looking at me. I'm a counselor, man. I had four
when I came in.
There you go.
And two active warrants.
Definitely. Oh, that's a given. That's a given.
Yeah.
I think I had at least two active warrants. And they want me to fix that. I'm like, I can't help you with that. I don't know what to tell you.
You can be there for them during the process, but I mean, they have to go through that themselves. You got to walk through it. I had to go and get booked and go through all that and then finish my CADAS.
Yeah. God, that's right. Oh man.
Yeah, I went from rehab to jail, then furloughed back to rehab, then stayed at Oasis under a court order, and then went at home, and I've been basically in an IOP ever since.
Wow.
It's only a once a month thing, but hey, before I forget, Mark had a really good question I wanted to ask.
Please.
What is the sponsor-sponsee relationship and its importance to recovering? I thought that was a really good question.
That's a great question. That is a great question. So a sponsor's job is the very basic definition of a sponsor is to take you through the steps, to help you go from first step through 12th step, and most specifically to help you get through the ones where there's some writing and revealing of self, and where you have to go and talk to other people. So like 4th and 5th step, and then the 8th and 9th step where you're making your amends. And for when you're hanging on to them longer, when you are dealing with life stuff. I was not a very good adult when I came in, and I needed people to help me just do day-to-day stuff. I wasn't good at paying bills. I was not good at making doctor's appointments. I still kind of suck at that. I just, it's an anxiety thing.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
It's just, and how to relate to people, what relationships are supposed to look like, even with family members, where to go, where not to go, how much energy to give to things. I call a sponsor and ask them, hey, what do I do about this? Call them and ask, because until my brain gets right, I don't trust it. I trust my brain now. I keep more of a network than I do a specific sponsor. When it's time for me to go through the steps again, I get a specific sponsor and I'll go through the steps again. But a sponsor is exactly who you need to take you through the steps, take you through whatever book you're using, whatever program you're in, and help you clear all that stuff away the first time.
Whoa, having difficulties there. Sorry about that.
That's all right. We lock up again.
Yeah, it was choppy for a second. It's cutting out. I don't know what the deal is, honestly.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. But yeah, basically or finishing what the role is and what role they play in recovery. I had a sponsor today.
Say that again. This is really locking up. I don't either.
Come on, internet. I don't know what's going on here. It's never happened.
Oh, well. It'll be all right.
Come on, internet. Okay.
All right, we're both back.
Are we still here?
We're still here. I don't know what's happening.
Technical
It'll
difficulties.
I know.
Yeah, I apologize. It's never happened before. I don't know what's going on.
There's no telling. I'm not mad. You asked me another question, I think.
It's all good. We can roll forward from here. What else? What else? Oh yeah, I did ask you. I was asking you about your sponsor. Do you currently have a sponsor at this point in your recovery, or do you feel like you need one anymore?
I will definitely need one the next time I go through the steps. Now I keep a network, and that includes women. It includes men too, usually married couples.
Yeah.
But I don't keep a specific sponsor unless I'm doing the steps. I don't know why. That's just kind of how it turned out. It's not like a specific decision. That's just how it worked out. But I had one while I was going through the steps, and I'll have one when I'm going through the steps again. And I
had
don't
a pretty cool sponsor.
Do you have one right now?
No, I don't. I haven't had a sponsor in a long time. I'll be honest.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like but I do have a good support system. I will say that I do have a really good support system.
Yeah, I think that's more important than anything, to be honest. I really do. I tried to sponsor people fairly recently. It did not work out. It really didn't on both sides. I lost a couple of people, like they dwindled away. Someone needed more than I could give her.
Yeah.
I do a lot at work, I think, and I think that's where I put that energy. And I'm tapped out after I leave work. So I think that's where all that energy goes. So
that's understandable. I mean, it probably does take a lot out of you. You work long shifts and you're working with people all day long. And so you're probably ready for a little bit of a break when you leave.
I am. Sponsees deserve a lot of emotional energy. And I kind of lack it at the end of the day. I really do. And that's not fair. That's not fair to them. It's really not.
Have the people that you said that you did sponsor at one time, or any of them female? They probably were females, right? Because they advised you to have a same sex sponsor, correct?
Yep. I had one person. It's also recommended to sponsor people that of the gender that you're not attracted to these days. So if it's like gay men can be sponsored by women, I guess. So
okay, that makes sense. That does.
Yeah. And I've had plenty of people that are like former clients or leaving clients and ask me if I sponsor people. And even if I did, I couldn't sponsor them because they're recent clients. So,
well, yeah. And like, I don't know, something about what we were just talking about, it made me think there were some very unique situations when I came through, as far as like people dealing with transgender and things like that.
yep.
So it's crazy, like how the world's changing, and then the rehabs have to change with the world, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. I never really thought about it, but
it's difficult, and I never would have expected it to be as complicated as it is. I'm grateful working where I work. People are pretty willing to have just conversations and give the benefit of the doubt that like no one's ever trying to be insulting. We're just asking questions. We've had a few transgender, like a very small number, like 3 transgender clients since I've worked down there.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to ask questions, like not anything about what's going on, but like who's comfortable, not just them and how they're going to be comfortable, but the other people in the room. Which gender room are they going to be in? Because there's not a transgender hallway. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable, to be made to feel uncomfortable, to be treated poorly. Like none of that's okay. None of that is okay, but everybody deserves treatment. And so how are you going to bring someone into a room of 50 people that already feel worse than they've ever felt in their life and go, okay, now be very, very nice to this person? Like, it's surprisingly, it has gone well every time, which gives me great faith and hope in humanity, to be honest. It really does. It really does. People from opposing gangs that are in there all the time. Yeah. It's wild. It is wild, the community that gets built in there, because the common problem is way worse than all this other, in my opinion, petty shit that's going on. Mm-hmm. Everybody in there, y'all are literally going to die if you don't get this addiction shit figured out. So, yep. Your this color skin and this Aryan and whatever going on out there, you should probably set that down and stop killing yourself. And they're going to do the same thing. And I don't know, if you're going to pick it back up when you leave, I guess go live your best life. But in the meantime, we don't do that shit inside here.
Yeah. Don't waste everybody else's time.
Thank you. Exactly. For the most part, that's what happens. And if we get a whiff that it's going to go other than that, they can just leave.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that happens a lot.
It does. Unfortunately.
What percentage of people that come through would you say don't make it?
Oh, well, and I love that question because, make it, we get a lot of people that cycle back through. And so I guess as long as they're coming back through, it's okay.
Yeah.
You are a rarity. You were there and you haven't been back so far. And how long have you been sober now? How long have you been clean?
Well, I'm still medically assisted, but it's 3.5 years. Wow. I still see a doctor. I go Wednesday actually.
Nice.
And I still go once a month. And I don't know, for me in my situation, like, I'm out here dying, so I had to, but like I had some stuff play out in front of me. Like I think I was talking to you the other day about it. I had some stuff play out, some like real life stuff play out, where like I became really close friends with someone in rehab, and we became extremely close, like brothers.
Yeah.
Got out of rehab together, and he relapsed, passed away, and like I watched it all happen. It all played out. So like I had that lesson play out like right in front of me. I don't know what sort of higher power or what is out there, but that was put. That person was put in my life for a reason.
I agree.
And I hate that I had to lose him, and it hurts my heart every day. I still think about him every damn day. But I don't know. It's a tribute to him, kind of me continuing to me keep it going, like even though he can't, like for me to keep it going.
Yep.
And
I
so
think,
it happened in a unique way for me to make
yeah,
me want to do it.
I think that's wonderful. And using whatever motivation you're given, even if it's terrible motivation, sometimes
Yeah,
it is terrible
it's
motivation.
horrible
People,
motivation.
you
I
know,
mean,
run it.
it's
Yeah,
but
but it's what you were given.
yep,
It's what you were given, and it's not going to be any better if you don't utilize it for good. Like it's not gonna make it turn out differently for him if you don't stay clean. So you might as well use it. And the fact that you think about him, keeps him here a little bit, in my opinion, anyway.
yep.
And for someone to get clean like that and then just to stay clean all that time, 3.5 years, no matter what it takes, that is unusual, to be honest. It really is. I'd say that's a very small percentage. I'd say that's like 10, maybe 15%, maybe that much, maybe.
Yeah.
I that's that's I hope it's that much.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
unique situation. Like it really is.
yep.
And Mark was asking what medically assisted means.
Mm,
And means for me in particular. I'll explain it because I don't mind. I'm totally transparent.
yeah.
I take a sublingual strip. It's called Suboxone. It's a medication. It blocks the opioid receptors in my brain, and I put a strip under my tongue every day, like every morning, and then I go about my day. And as far as like the effects, it doesn't mess me up. I've been on it every day for years. It doesn't have that kind of effect on me, and I don't use it for that reason, anyways. But like, it kind of gives me like maybe an energy drink feeling, if anything. But it's not something that really messes you up or anything.
Right.
It kind of gives me peace of mind. It's an extra like tool in my arsenal.
Uh,
If I used, I'm not going to get high. I'm just going to kill myself.
right.
Uh, so it's something that's worked for me. I mean, it's a medication that I take every day, but like I've watched other people down me for the route that I took and took a different
Mm,
route, and they're no longer here. So I mean,
right.
it's what works for you. It's what works for the particular person.
And
And
that is the most important part. I get very upset when anybody has something negative to say about somebody's path to sobriety. If your path to sobriety is California sober and smoking a joint, a couple of times a week keeps you off of anything and everything else, and you're
mhm.
living a pristine life otherwise, man, do it.
Yeah, if you can do it, yeah, if you have the ability, yes.
Absolutely.
Some
I
some
could not
people
do
don't.
that. Yeah,
Right.
some people don't. Some people, it's exactly what they need. It is not for me to judge. I was medically assisted also. I took Vivitrol because Vivitrol also works for alcohol. And I was
Wow,
on
okay.
Vivitrol for 8 or 9 months. And for Vivitrol people, you can take it orally, but you get a shot in the
The
butt
butt
once a
cheek.
month. Yeah, in the butt cheek. And it's a big shot, but it's once a month. Also, you just go about your day. And that one's not narcotic, but it has the exact same effect. It blocks the opiate and alcohol receptors in your brain. If you use, you're not going to feel any of the happy. Your body will still get high or drunk or whatever, but your brain won't have have any fun. So there's
Yeah.
no point.
Yep.
And it
Hey,
is.
I do want to. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I
No, go
totally
ahead.
cut you off. I did
You're
want
fine.
to explain. Someone asked me what would happen if I had to go to the hospital and I was like really badly hurt and they needed to give me pain pills.
Yep.
They need to know that I'm on Suboxone, but
Mhm.
they can still I can be administered pain medication by a nurse and be okay. They just have to
Yep.
know that I'm on Suboxone, and they probably should know that I'm an addict.
Yes. Yep.
And
And with someone on Vivitrol, it's actually a little bit more difficult, but not that much more difficult. They would also need to know that they're on Vivitrol, and they would end up giving them nerve blockers and more sedation versus
wow.
opiates. But they can do it. They can still make the pain stop, and they definitely need to know that you're on Vivitrol. because otherwise they will be giving you opiates and you will not be responding, and they will keep giving you opiates and you will continue not to respond.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey,
But
Mark keeps popping off with the awesome questions here.
I love it. Thank you, Mark.
He's actually a really cool dude. He lives in it's southern Georgia. I can't remember what city, but he lives down south with us, southern folk. But he's asking what actions are being taken to process that grief and trauma. What actions are being taken to process that grief or trauma? For me or for Charlotte?
Probably for you.
For me, what actions? I don't know, man. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I still have a hard time with a lot of stuff. Like, I was dealing with some things this morning. I just stay the path. I do what I have to do for that minute. If it means pick up a comic book and read a comic book, or go for a walk, or just anything. You just got to make it through that minute, and the next 30 minutes, the next hour, the next, and just day by day. And I have bad days and then I have good days. And but I see a counselor though. I talk to somebody for at least a half hour to an hour every month about it. So I am seeing a professional. So I would say that I'm seeing a professional, and that would be my answer.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
They've got trauma groups. They've got grief counseling. You can even get it for free these days, a little bit. Not probably as intensive, but you can get it for free. If it's over a death, you can get it through hospice.
Okay.
And, yep. It's hard stuff to get past. It really is.
Well, let's see. We got a few more minutes. Anything else you want to talk about? We got another couple minutes.
I had a whole page of notes and stuff just in case, and it's like a whole other topic. We've got
well, I definitely want to have you back again. Like, I definitely want to have you back in the future a third time, because if I feel like the time's flown by, and I feel like we've barely put a dent.
I don't know how this happens. There's just so much to it. And I've got to say, I appreciate you bringing this topic up, because the one thing that I've noticed is not enough people talk about this. Not enough people talk about recovery, addiction, not really, not like it really is. There's tons of people out there who studied books, who went to college, who are very clinical and technical about it. And that's all very well and good. But people who lived it and people who survived it, I really want more people like us talking about it, because it's important. It is important.
It is really important.
Because
it's like through like, for example, like through me talking about it on here, I've discovered so many people in the comic book community that I never would have known. They're also very much the same as me, dealing with a lot of the same things. And, I've built up a little bit of a community that way. And you never know what you have in common with somebody. And, or you never know who you might be able to help.
That part. Part. Mike Webb, the counselor, the wonderful counselor at CADAS that taught me how to do basically everything that I do.
I love Mike.
He's wonderful, man. And he always said that the opposite of addiction is connection. And if we sit and hide and think that we are different and we are unique and we're the only ones who have ever felt this way or thought this way or done these things, that we will die feeling that way, and we will die in our addiction. But it's not just us feeling that way. It's not even just addicts who feel this way. And the only way to fix that, the only way to break that, is to be willing to talk, is to be willing to share that. And even just us sharing this, you sharing that, you can say something that initiates understanding of a feeling that can connect with somebody who has maybe somebody else who's lost a friend to addiction. And now you have opened them up, and you guys can connect in that way. And they're not an addict, but they have lost somebody. And so now both of you stop suffering from the disconnection, and you can talk and heal. And that's one of the ways, all the ways that I ever hear about that are clinically based to heal trauma, they all involve talking. and they all involve connecting with another human being, and they all involve discussing it and making a connection and getting it out. And what better way to do it than to connect with other people and figure out what you have in common and just like be a human being and not be alone. To me, that's the biggest point.
Absolutely. Yeah, very well said. And Marcus was saying he that Legion was referring to my friend as far as the grief thing.
Yeah.
And how I dealt with that. So I don't know how I deal with that. I know that I carry him with me in my heart every day, and I know that I think about him every day. And yeah.
You
That's
can
all
get
I can say
tattoos for
without
people
crying.
too.
So
I love that. This is for my most recent friend. I get tattoos for people now. That is going to be problematic eventually, I think. I wish people would stop going, but
yeah. No, they need to stop. I'm tired of
they
losing
really do.
people.
They really do. I know you miss him. I know you miss him. I do too. Not like you do. Not like you do.
Well, I guess we probably need to wrap it up because we've already went 10 minutes over. But I was having so much fun though. Like, I was having so much fun talking to you though. But I wanted to thank you for coming and hanging out with us a second time, and hopefully you'll make it back a third time.
I would love it.
But yeah, and thank you to everybody that's came and hung out with us and listened to us talk about recovery. And hopefully, I hope some of you guys maybe learned something new or something interesting, or took something from it. That was definitely my goal. But I love you guys so much, and thanks for showing up for me once again. Like, I love you guys. I love you all so much. And next week it's going to be open panel. I hope everybody comes out to hang out. I hope just we fill it up, have like 10 people just hanging out and just having a blast talking about comics. And yeah, that's all I really got. So yeah, y'all be sure to flip over to Between the Lines. It's on Roscoe's channel, and it is going on right now. So yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you.
you.
But we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good week. We'll end it with some Biggie.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.